Hey, what's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. It is time for the 2015 review on The Day Is My Enemy by The Prodigy. Now, for those who don't know these guys, The Prodigy are an electronic slash techno breakbeat type of group, and The Prodigy had been one of my first favourite groups when I got into music, and this is their first album in 6 years. So obviously this album had to be one of these most extremely hyped up and anticipated albums for 2015 because it's just The Prodigy. I mean, you can't go anything wrong with The Prodigy. And I do love the albums of Music for the Jilted Generation and their obvious landmark release, The Fat of the Land, both one of my favourite albums of all time. So I thought I would do a quick review of this album without, wasting any more time to review it much more later. I should have reviewed this earlier, really, but there you go. So, this album, I've got to say, is a pretty cool album from The Prodigy, but I've got to say that this is not one of those top best-of albums for 2015, but nonetheless, I still thoroughly enjoyed it all the way through. I would still prefer the 90s era of The Prodigy. I think that is the group's best era from their career, I should say, for a lot of these really rhythmic and mind-blowingly fun and energetic, catchy stuff, especially on The Fat of the Land. And we all know these really popular hits that The Prodigy have done, and there are some singles that have been released before this album's official release, obvious ones on here from this album like The Day Is My Enemy, Nasty, and Wild Frontier. The production of this album is really, really good. A lot of the music on this album contains some really loud and quite a fuzzy type of electronic type of sound. A lot of the songs on here are just that loud in terms of the pumpiness of the beats, and some songs on here do take things down a bit, and make the music much more a bit more softer and a bit darker a few times on here as well. Some really good songs on this album. One of my favourites are The Day Is My Enemy, Wild Frontier, Ibis featuring Sleaford Mods, and Roadblock is definitely one of my top favourites on this album as well, and Destroy. There are some little flaws on this album, unfortunately, because in my opinion, some of the songs on this album, including Nasty, just, in my own eyes, guys, don't really quite capture what I would like from The Prodigy's new material on this album. Some songs on here are quite a bit repetitive and a bit bland. I just wish that they could have been done much more better in terms of making more variety and sounds into the instrumentation. And there are some songs on here with not much lyrics on this album either, which I'm a bit disappointed by it. So a few more lyrics and a few more different sounds or variety on a few of these tracks could have been done much more better. And I did mention Nasty, but even though that some people may not like this album, some people would just love it because of The Prodigy's really normal and typical sound. And I do really like The Prodigy, so that's just my own humble opinion on the whole negative side on this album. But overall, it's just not a very big giant of an album, but I still enjoyed it all the way through by many tracks on this album. And let me know what you guys think of this album in the comments below, and tell me which is your favourite song on this album and your favourite Prodigy album. As I said, Music for the Jilted Generation and The Fat of the Land are my favourites from The Prodigy, and Take Me to the Hospital Records is the record label for this album as well. It has 14 tracks, and I believe the album length is more than 50 minutes in length. So that is just pretty much all I've got to say about The Day Is My Enemy by The Prodigy. And yeah, as I said, it's just not one of those really big best of albums for 2015 for me. And I would give The Day Is My Enemy a positive, solid 8 out of 10. And that is the same album rating that I gave Shadows in the Night by Bob Dylan, an 8 out of 10. So this is an 8 out of 10 album. Thank you guys for watching, and for the next 2015 review will be on the new Neil Young and Promise of the Real album entitled The Monsanto Years. So that's just pretty much it. Thank you guys, and I'll keep you guys posted for more of these 2015 reviews and other music related videos for this channel in the near future.